Hi, can someone tell me what the fuck's going on? Like, what are we doing?
The UK is literally at a tipping point right now. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime or in my parents' lifetime. We've never seen anything like this on this scale. The people of this nation are getting sick and tired of everything that is happening to them.
More Britons than ever are now struggling to make ends meet, report warns. More people than ever are struggling to live on their current income, whilst just a third say they are living comfortably, according to new research.
I've had enough. I've had enough. What is this country's problem with bills?
The UK is the worst place to live. It's official. The whole country is a scam and it's run by an extreme far-left communist government headed by Keir Starlin. The tax is through the roof, and at the end of the month, if you can barely afford a pack of ramen noodles, you'll be lucky.
One of the best decisions I've ever made in life is leaving the UK. Everyone's always miserable, there's no jobs, the economy is absolutely just out of this world, mate. The cost of living, you get absolutely shafted going to Tesco's.
The UK tax system is a joke, and I don't mean that like in any other way. I tell people around the world how much tax we pay in the UK and they literally laugh. It's a joke to them.
Not being funny, but has anyone else's water bill increased massively? Like, what the actual fuck?
One of the biggest scams in this country at the moment is the TV licence. I really don't know why people pay for a TV licence.
At this point, I just think the prices in the UK are absolutely fucking made up. 15-minute taxi ride? Yeah, 40 quid. Want to rent a house that was £550 last year? Call it 1,400 quid.
The average UK person is poorer than every single person in the United States.
Growing up, you were probably told to get a job, work hard, keep your head down, keep grinding, don't ask too many questions. But guess what? I bet you're probably still behind and you're struggling in life. And you know what? It's not your fault, right? Because this system is like totally rigged against us.
Don't you just love adulting? Final notice. Fine. All shit I'm about to pay.
Every damn April, all the bills goes up, like everything gets increased, right? But now salary remains the same. I mean, I have a friend that works in NHS, right? And then you get about 5% increase in your salary, but then all your bills get increased by about 12%. How the hell are we meant to survive this madness?
UK government's spending money like they're on fucking holiday. Yeah, that's all right, I'll pay 30 euros for a bottle of, sunscreen. Oh, that's all right, you want to float? 40 euros, fine. Excursion, 200 euros, no problem. You'd never do this back home, really.
Rents and mortgages are right up there, and it's a hard time. It is a hard time, and on top of that, we've got all this stuff escalating, what we need to de-escalate them. We don't have a clue what's going on.
Welcome back to Broken Britain, where nothing works, everything costs too much, and the system is collapsing all around us. The cost of living is unbearable, the job market is a joke, wages are stuck in the past, rent is sky high, taxes are crushing us, and crime is rising on every street. Ordinary Brits feel trapped, not because we don't love our country, but because our country doesn't love us back. Everywhere you turn, it's broken. The NHS, housing, transport, energy, even basic safety. And now, more and more Brits are saying, I've had enough. I want out. What was once home now feels like a prison you can't afford to live in. If you're sick of watching this country rot while politicians pretend everything's fine, hit subscribe to Brit Rants, because it's time to blow the lid off this chaos.
I've had enough. I've had enough. What is this country's problem with bills? Why is there always a bill to pay? Okay, what is a TV licence? Why do I need a television licence? It's not a car. It's not a moped. What? The television's there. What do you mean I need to pay to use? I paid for it. I've got nothing left. Everything's a bill. Just give me some money.
TikTok, help me out with something. Can you explain to me why I'm buying a house with deposit money where I've paid tax, yet I'm still having to pay stamp duty, land tax, with money that I've already paid tax on? And then, to make matters worse, when I'm living in the house, I'm having to pay council tax with already paid for tax money. Why? Someone make it make sense.
Well, it hit me today, the cost of living crisis. I'm on the episode of The In-Betweeners where Will goes and buys the alcohol. Let me tell you, 4 bags of kettle chips, 2 cans of Pringles, 2 bottles of gin, a bottle of Drambuie and a packet of mints. 29 quid! I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked. I had to pause the telly and look up the Asda prices to see what it would be now. Shocked.
One of the best decisions I've ever made in life is leaving the UK. The UK is in such a deep hole at the moment with political issues and so much other else. Like, the weather's always crap, everyone's always miserable, there's no jobs, the economy is absolutely just out of this world, mate. The cost of living, you get absolutely shafted going to Tesco's. So I decided to change that overnight, and now I stay in a beautiful hotel overlooking the mountains in the distance every single day. Cost of living here is great, it's cheap, people are friendly, everyone's smiling, it's always sunny. Like, what reason have I got to go back to such an absolute wormhole called the United Kingdom? I hate it. It's such a miserable place. Like, honestly, there's better places on earth than England. I just have such a deep hatred for it, and I do not ever plan to return to such a stupid country.
At this point, I just think the prices in the UK are absolutely fucking made up. 15-minute taxi ride? Yeah, 40 quid. Want to rent a house that was £550 last year? Call it 1,400 quid. Train to London from Bristol? 170 quid. Want to get car insurance? No claims bonus? Same car? Another year? Double the price. Pay more for a caravan than you do flying to the fucking Maldives? But hey, welcome to England. Council tax, road tax, sugar tax, income tax, national insurance contributions, corporation tax, investment tax, you name it, we pay it. But don't worry, if you ain't got a job, we're going to give you £2 a month and pay all your bills. Have a nice life.
The UK is the worst place to live. It's official. The whole country is a scam, and it's run by an extreme far-left communist government, headed by Keir Starlin. The tax is through the roof, and at the end of the month, if you can barely afford a pack of ramen noodles, you'll be lucky. The roads are full of potholes, there's crime at every turn, and the streets are becoming more dangerous as the seconds go by. All the while, the UK government are taking your hard-earned tax money and giving it to illegal, undocumented individuals who despise you. So while you're eating your last sticky rib hot noodle, you can be rest assured that you live in the worst country on earth. But if you want to learn how to escape this, go to my bio.
The average UK person is poorer than every single person in the United States. There's a concept called GDP per capita, which basically works out how much an individual person per country is contributing to the economy, so how much actually they make per year. In the US, there's 50 odd states, okay? Can't remember 50 or 51. But the poorest state is Mississippi. Mississippi is known for having swamps, it's known for having parodying movies, and the average person in Mississippi has a GDP per capita of $53,000. In the UK, the average person has £37,000 per capita, which equates to roughly $49,000 per capita. So therefore, the average person in the UK is poorer than every single person on average in the US.
More Britons than ever are now struggling to make ends meet, report warns. More people than ever are struggling to live on their current income, whilst just a third say they are living comfortably, according to new research. I mean, it shouldn't come as a shock. Forever rising household costs, shopping, fuel, it's bonkers. Mortgages, the interest rate's still right up there. That should be, I don't understand how that's right up there. They don't want to drop it. They keep teasing us saying, oh, we might get lucky and we get surprised they're going to drop it and stuff. Rents and mortgages are right up there. And it's a hard time. It is a hard time. And on top of that, we've got all this stuff escalating, what we need to de-escalate, the war stuff. People at the moment in this country are absolutely fucking frightened to death. They don't have a clue what's going on. We've got a leader there who meant to comfort us and let us know what is happening. I don't think he knows himself, which doesn't make it any easier for people. We need it to big time so we can enjoy our summer. Honestly, UK, man, it's done for.
All right, we are Smiths on tour. We're out here in the world doing what we're doing and looking back to why we left the UK in the first place, and we'd love to open more eyes into a different way of life. That's why we go out and we compare prices, we compare happiness, we compare everything around the world, not just back to the UK. So If you're from any Western country, America, Australia, Canada, Europe, jump on board. We'll talk about all sorts of things, starting with tax. The UK tax system is a joke. And I don't mean that like in any other way. I tell people around the world how much tax we pay in the UK and they literally laugh. It's a joke to them. I paid 40% income tax on my salary. And then on top of that, you have to pay national insurance contributions, which is a tax. Then on top of that, you fuel your car with tax. You pay tax on your car. You pay sugar tax, VAT, council tax, road tax. Everything's a tax. Do you really receive any benefits for that tax contribution? For every pound you earn, how much of that pound goes back to the government in tax as it changes hands, as it gets spent? I dread to think how much that is. And if you think the benefits are worth it back in the UK, you crack on. But to me, I'd much rather be out here on a lower salary, paying a lot less tax. And, 100% of the people have got a smile on their face. It says a lot. Let me know what you think. This is free speech, raw thoughts.
One of the biggest scams in this country at the moment is the TV license. I really don't know why people pay for a TV license. In all the years I've lived on my own, I have never paid for a TV license. And you better believe I never will. Do I watch live TV? Of course I do. Do I have access to BBC channels and iPlayer? Yes. Am I going to pay the TV license? No. Now, the thing that makes me laugh about the good old TV licensing scam is it's a bit like the Nigerian prince scam emails you'd get every now and again. I'm a Nigerian prince and I've inherited $50 million. All you have to do is send me £2,000 and you can have a chunk of this money. You don't fall for that, do you? So when TV licensing sends you a letter that says to the occupier, you must pay this, blah, 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 blah. Why do people fall for that? What do you get for your money? Nothing. What do you get if you don't pay? Well, nothing in my case. So why bother? Funnier still is the cycle of letters that TV licensing send. So every year I get 3 letters, predictably, to the occupier. A few months will go by, I ignore it. Next letter comes by, to the occupier. A few more months go by, I get a letter in my name. But I ignore all 3, leave it a bit of time, and the cycle starts again. So again, I ask, why bother paying? I mean, we all know what the BBC are. We all know what they support inside. It is just... why?
What's up with the price of coffee? If you're not feeling the pinch when it comes to cost of living, you've probably got a pretty good job. Because here in the UK, things aren't great. I'm actually the one responsible for doing the shopping in my household, and every single time I go, I seem to get less for my money. And do not even get me started on energy prices. Wages don't seem to be going up, and even if they are, they're not going up in line with the increased prices. Now, usually I just have a little moan and then shut up and move on. But this time I got a little bit frustrated because the price of coffee has gone up significantly. And to be honest, I drink more than my fair share of coffee. And whilst I was kind of internally fuming over this, I had a little idea. I had a scroll through TikTok Shop and I found that the price hike hasn't yet hit. So I thought maybe I can do people a service and help myself at the same time. So I've linked below what I think is the best deal for coffee on the TikTok Shop. And if you're going to buy coffee anyway, you may as well buy it from here because you're going to save money. And if you do buy, maybe it'll subsidise my next purchase too. Thank you very much. P.S. Feel free to have a moan in the comments about the cost of living in the UK.
So anyway, another rant I need to do is every damn April, all the bills goes up, like everything gets increased, right? But now salary remains the same. I mean, I have a friend that works in NHS, right? And then you get about 5% increase in your salary, but then all your bills get increased by about 12%. How the hell are we meant to survive this madness? Especially if you're someone like me who is a single person living on their own. I've got no partner to share my bills with, which means that it falls on me to take care of myself, right? Have mercy on us, the single people. It's crazy. I mean, it's the bills, they increase every damn April. And some of these bills have no chill. I mean, the other day, my broadband hyperoptic emailed me saying that my bill is going up. It's not even fucking April.
I'm just going to say it. I fucking hate London. There's speed cameras everywhere, there's a fine for you every day if you drive an old car with high emissions. And now they want to ban you from driving if they hear that your car is loud. There's mice everywhere, the place smells like fucking weed and piss. They say you can't go 5 metres without mice or anything like that. Listen mate, you can't go fucking 5 metres without a crackhead trying to fight you. And then just like Dublin, there's a big fucking premium you have to pay to live here. I can guarantee if I talked to 10 people, 10 out of 10 people would say I would rather see that lovely R34 coming down, nice clean wheels, yeah there's a bit of emissions, yeah there's a bit of sound, than see 100 fucking crackheads. You want to keep your city beautiful and presentable? You're banning the wrong stuff. I'm gonna go to Dubai, fuck this.
Growing up, you were probably told to get a job, work hard, keep your head down, keep grinding, don't ask too many questions. But guess what? I bet you're probably still behind and you're struggling in life. And you know what? It's not your fault, right? Because this system is like totally rigged against us. You know, we've got wages that haven't kept up with inflation. We've got house prices that are out of control. You know, in the 80s, where a house would be 3 or 4 times your annual wage, you're now looking at 10 to 12 times. Most people will never own their own homes. They'll never get on the property ladder and they'll have nothing to leave their children. So no matter how hard you work, see, this is the big lie we get told. Hard work doesn't equal success. You don't have to work harder, you have to work smarter. And when I was growing up, there was no information about what jobs paid, you know, career prospects, the cost of living, mortgages. I don't know if they teach this now in schools, but this is something that they really need to teach kids. You know, this whole system is rigged. So, you know, I can't stress how important it is to get a job that does kind of pay well, that does give you a half decent chance in life, that you will get, you know, a decent, you know, salary and maybe have a chance of buying a house. But the way things are going, I totally get why people are fed up living in the UK. And it's also like this in a lot of states in America. You know, at least in the UK at the moment, we have the NHS. How much longer that will last for, I don't know. But guys, you know, I get why you're fed up, because, you know, working your arse off and working 50 hours a week and you're still not getting anywhere. It's not you, it's the system. It's all wrong.
UK government's spending money like they're on fucking holiday. Yeah, that's all right. I'll pay 30 euros for a bottle of, you know, sunscreen. Oh, that's all right. You want to float? 40 euros. Fine. Excursion, 200 euros. No problem. You'd never do this back home, really. Do you remember when the government came to power last year and they said there was a £22 billion black hole? Well, I do. And magically over the past year, well, not even a year actually, it's ended up being 50 billion. What are they spending it all on? Well, number 1 is welfare. Number 2 is health. Number 3, education. And number 4 is debt interest, which I think is probably gonna overtake education at some point. Imagine that, spending so much money just purely on debt interest because they keep fucking borrowing more and more money. It makes no sense. Biggest problem though is that our GDP per capita is still at the same level as 2018. But this is while nominal GDP has increased so much. So basically we have loads of people who are pretty unproductive in the country. Loads of comments going to be about a wealth tax. A wealth tax will not do a thing. It has not raised enough money anywhere it has been tried. What might raise money though is a land value tax, where you actually tax the unimproved value of land because it can't be picked up, moved offshore, and most rich people actually own quite a lot of land. At the same time, though, you'd have to untax capital and income. Capital is your friend. It is not your enemy. Capital is a good thing. It's just capitalists in the UK tend to want to buy land because they know it goes up, and land is property. Property is good, though. You actually want property to be untaxed because you want more properties, obviously. Above all, though, we just have really stupid politicians who aren't incentivized because they're paid something like 90 grand. In Singapore, you have politicians being paid about $250,000, plus they have economic KPIs. So the better growth they get, the more they then get paid. That's fantastic. That's how incentives should work. But the UK has a massive incentives crisis. They're going to be forced to raise taxes in the autumn, and you're going to get fucked.
Hi, can someone tell me what the fuck's going on? Like, what are we doing? After you work your job and you pay your bills and you go to the gym and you eat good and maybe you socialize and you sleep, and then you take care of yourself. Like, what's the end goal? Retirement? No. Even when you meet your goals, you travel, you save up for something financially, you buy a house, you have a baby. What then? Like, it's really this day in, day out, every fucking day forever? Until what, the big finale is we die? Like what's going on? What are we doing here?
I don't feel proud being British at all.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
If I could afford it, I'd emigrate. I think this country's disgusting. How it treats people, its pensioners, its war victims, a lot. It's disgusting, yeah. Their view is we can help everybody in the world. No one can help everyone in the world, but you're not helping your own first. Hence why it causes racism, it causes so many more problems across the board when it's the government's fault, not the people who live here. They're forgetting about pensioners who have already been through a war, fought their way to get their freedom. What are they living on? £60 a week, if that. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And they're saying, oh yeah, we're taking all these other people from these other countries and blah 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 blah, and I get, yeah, they need help, but how can you help other people when you can't even help your own country? You need to get your own country in order, then you can help other people.
I'm going to break this down for you because some of you seem brand new. What's happening in the UK at the moment, painting the cross on the roundabouts, all the protests and stuff against, you know, the immigrants, asylum seekers. Okay. Have you ever heard of the divide and conquer rule? So basically, this starts when an overall powerful entity, so in this case, the UK government, likes to have that power. So the people underneath them, they like to split them into two groups. So in this case, we have the UK citizens and we have the immigrants / asylum seekers. I don't know what the political correct term is, but there we go. The UK government is directly up in the cost of living, up in taxes, unaffordable housing, rising food prices, etc., etc. The UK government is also giving the people, I think rightly so, free housing, use of NHS facilities, financial aid, etc. Because of the government, these two groups now have been split. Not everyone, but they have been split, as you can see. So the UK government are now dividing these two so that these two fight amongst each other. Who ends up unscathed? The UK government. So instead of directing your anger at each other, well, mostly these against these, let's all go to the real problem, which is these fuckers at the top. Just saying.
These are the awful April bills and taxes that are going up in the UK from today. Water is up £10 a month in England and Wales and 10% in Scotland. Energy up £111 a year to £1,849 for typical households in England, Wales and Scotland. Council tax up 4.99% in England, 4.5 to 9.5% in Wales, and at least 8% in Scotland, varying per region. And finally, car tax changes. The exemption for electric, zero or low emission cars ends. Those vehicles registered after today will pay £10 in the first year, then £195 a year. Those registered between April 2017 to March 2025 will pay £195, and those from March 2001 to March 2017 will pay £20. Crazy. Honestly, if there's one thing you can guarantee in the UK, it's that you're gonna see your bills go up. All of those utilities are going up, and a lot of people have already been finding that their energy bills have increased tremendously in the past couple years due to the cost of living crisis and due to the Ukraine war. The water one is especially crazy for people who live in England and South East because of Thames Water. They have a new approved funding plan from the government that means that they unleashed a new business plan that's giving us higher bills.
Not being funny, but has anyone else's water bill increased massively? Like, what the actual fuck? Now, I don't know if it's just a South thing, right, with Thames Water, robbing, thieving. But I got an email off them today saying, your bill's available to view online. I thought, go on then, I'll view it. You know, I pay direct debit every month, so I didn't think much of it. However, I looked at it, it gives me bill, which I never understand. You know how it's like, it's a massive bill, but it's like we're predicting for next year as well. Now, I haven't got a clue how the water bills work. I haven't got a clue, right? I just know I pay monthly. But the monthly payments, we're changing your monthly payments. I thought, oh, aye, let's have a look. My monthly payments are going up by £31 per calendar month, which is roughly about £360 or something a year. What? What? For what? Because nothing's changed in my situation, mate. So, what the actual hell am I paying extra for? Now, listen, I know the prices of everything I know, right? I know that. But Thames Water, you're an absolute piss take. Because, well, your water tastes like trash, yeah? I'm a Geordie, and believe it or not, we've got the best water up there. I mean, compared to down here. Do you know what I mean? Northumbrian water all the way. The water down here is a load of kenk. And actually, there's quite a lot of crap in the water, isn't there? But I'm paying for it. I'm paying for the extra crap in the water, basically. Also, I'm obviously just paying for the repairs because it seems as though where I live, you're constantly doing work. So obviously I'm covering the cost of that, repairs for things that you've buggered up in the first place. I can't get over it. Now, I know everything's going up. I'm not stupid. I know the prices of everything are going up, right? Everything's gone through the roof. But how, man, an extra £31 a month? I didn't even live in a big house. I'm on a water meter. And I didn't use loads and loads of water. Anyway, Thames Water, you're robbers.
For using the public road you already pay for. I pay road tax, right? This clean air zone is bollocks. Don't you just love adulting? Final notice. Fine. All shit I'm about to pay. Right, so I finished early today. Well, I haven't finished early. I started at 2:30 this morning. So I've done a full shift. So I'm not finishing early. But I've got home and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't pay my bills. I mean, this is apparently because I borrowed some electric for 4 days and it's cost me 60 quid, which is why I've been refusing to pay it, because I think this is fucking bullshit. This one was because I got my hair cut. My haircut now cost me £55. And this one was because I popped to see Hannah, but I didn't go around the city. I went through the city and I thought, do you know what? That's the quickest route. I'm going to go through there. And then I got this through the post saying, you owe us a shit ton of money for using the public road you already pay for. I pay road tax, right? This clean air zone is bollocks. Anyway, I hate adulting.
Hey TikTok, I'm Jim. I am a mid to late 40s British man who's worked his ass off for better part 3 decades in the hope that I could have a nice retirement one day. Well, that's not going to happen, is it? This country is absolutely, totally fucked. And I've had enough. So, I'm going to take the little parcel of land that my dad managed to leave me, all that he had left after a lifetime of successful work as an accountant. Believe it or not, he had a nice middle-class life. 2008 financial crisis destroyed him, robbed him of everything he ever owned. I watched him die of leukemia 2 years ago because the NHS decided a positive COVID test was a good reason to refuse him his second course of chemotherapy. It's been a rough couple of years for me, emotionally, but when it comes to the financials in this country, it's an absolute joke. I can freely admit I'm blessed. You would consider me lucky. I have a career that pays me very, very well. I've worked my way up to a 6-figure income. And when I was a kid, the idea of making a 6-figure income meant you would be very comfortable, no trouble for the rest of your days. Maybe an early retirement, a house somewhere sunny. You know the story. But the reality is, I now struggle. Every month is a nightmare. I have a home I can barely afford to keep running. I have a wife I can barely afford to keep running. It's just a joke. So I'm going to take this little half acre of land that my dad managed to cling on to, and I'm going to do my very best to spin it up into a way out. I'm going to try and find a way out for me, for my family, to get the hell out of this country and get to somewhere a bit more sensible, out of the way of all this absolute nonsense, this wokeism shit that's everywhere. It's just oppressive at this stage. I feel like a prisoner in my own home. Lockdown's long over, but I can't go to my local town because it's a shithole. I can't drive my local streets because they're full of holes. It's just an absolute joke. I live in a country where I pay £4,500 a year in council tax, and they can't fix the road I live on.
Honestly, taking £48,000 in taxes from a £120,000 income is absolutely ridiculous. I feel like the UK is trying so hard, without even hiding it to keep its citizens broke, because no explanation would make sense. Like, someone works so hard, you know, to get promotions, and then they get finally to make 120,000, and the government just comes and says, you know, because you're getting too rich, we're gonna make sure that you stay as close as possible to the average income. If this is not witchcraft, what is it? Like, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And some people would argue that, oh, because it is a socialist country and because healthcare is free and because things are free. What is free? Nothing is free. And if you're taking £48,000 out of 120,000 income, and you're absolutely providing the best services like the Scandinavian countries do, I don't have any issue whatsoever. But you're taking this amount of tax, and the health services are not the best. The roads are not the best. So you're basically saying this is daylight robbery. Like, you're just robbing your own citizens. And so young people who are actually aspiring to accumulate wealth, what do you want them to do? They're going to run away from the country, and they're going to take their talents to other countries like Dubai, like the US, like Australia, which is going to recognize them and actually try to push them to have a real middle class. Because I feel like the UK is trying to just have average incomers, and then they're high class, they're aristocrats. No real middle class is actually present in the UK, which I feel like, yeah, it is really not cool at all. So guys, let me know if you have any sort of like suggestions as to why this is happening in the UK, because everybody's leaving. Like, when I go on my platform, I see that a lot of people are commenting, young people, talented and vibrant, with prospect, are leaving the UK and are going to Australia, going to New Zealand, going to all sort of countries and leaving the UK. At some point, the country is going to be a poor country. That's my feeling. But hey, let me know what you think.
So I spent the last year living in Latin America, and I'm back in the UK. It's been about 7 days now. I have a cold. I haven't had a cold in over a year. I'm paying about 200% more for everything. The weather's been good, which is nice, I guess. And really, it's actually interesting getting used to English culture again after being away from it for so long. I'm only going to be here for 1 month to see my friends and family, but it just reminds me as to how bad vibes this country is, and I really have no desire to stay here long term. I honestly can't imagine living here all year round and not being able to leave. Like, I don't understand how you guys do it. Like, if you still haven't found a way to make income online, it's 2024, then you actually need to be studied. But yeah, this video is just to test out the TikTok algorithm to see whether or not the geographical location that I'm in makes a difference to my views. Thanks for watching.
Good evening. Anyone else totally fed up of being ripped off in this country? Because I know that I certainly am. So it's probably a bit TMI, but I know that myself and probably 50% of the population, probably a bit more, have IBS and stomach issues, and I've run out of supplies today, so I had to rush out quickly and get some. Anyway, I went to a chemist, not an expensive shop, a chemist, and they didn't have the cheaper brand of what I wanted, as they usually do, but I thought it's fine, it'll be a bit more expensive, so I'll just get them. Please tell me why these two here cost me £15.50. £15.50 for that. Like, honestly, I'm so fed up of being ripped off in this country. Absolutely takes the piss. How on earth can they charge that much for those? Like, it's not even like it's a nice to have. It's not like a vitamin or something like that. It's like, I need that sort of medication, and you're charging people £15.50 for 2 packets of it. Like, it's absolutely mad. So over it. Anyone else having the same problems with things like that sort of medication? I normally go for cheaper ones. But I won't be buying those ones again, because that is just so extortionate.
So it's taken me 2 hours to do a journey that usually takes an hour and 10 minutes to get from Croydon to my West End venue. I'm seeing ladies on Lime bikes, like a scene out of Mary Poppins, and they can't even ride bikes. They're running into lampposts, and this is a catastrophe. And I said, where does one go from here? I've spoken to a few people that actually work for the RMT and London Underground, and the real reason why they're actually striking isn't really about pay, it's about the work-life balance and the conditions. If you're going to cut staff by 2,000 people, okay, and make us do more work, we should be compensated for that. Because you're saving money on one end, but all of that saving is going to the top and nothing is trickling down to the bottom. And work-life balance is everything. I've been in hospitality for over 10 years, and it's probably one of the most antisocial industries there is, because you lose your Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays to make money for an organization or for a business. There's nothing worse than seeing your boss jump into his car at the end of the shift, into his Lamborghini, his Range Rover, or in my case, my Renault Clio, and you're at the night bus and he waves you by and says thank you. It's a bit like going on a date, you know, with a lady, and the date's finished and you jump into your car and the lady's at the bus stop and you're like, oh, see you later, babes, and you wonder why she didn't text you the following morning. Where does one go from here? What should public sector workers actually be earning? Because the average salary for most of them is around the 40k mark. And even when we was discussing about the 65k yesterday, and once again, not all people who work for London Underground actually earn 65k. Apparently it's just the tube drivers that do, and those on the ground earn a lot less. But once again, it's not really about money, it's more about the work-life balance, because if you're reducing staff, that means we have to work harder, and in some cases people are not actually getting their breaks long enough, because if they take a long enough break, the station closes. And some of them are doing shift patterns, some of them are working 7 days, then they get 1 day off. It's just a madness. And one thing I've learned about life, work balance, being someone who's self-employed, is burnout. And burnout is so real. But once again, what should somebody be earning in the public sector? Because we all complain about these wages, but what should somebody be earning? Because I've been told that the 65k that these tube drivers are earning is not even enough in London. 65k, about 4k after tax. What is a good, decent wage for someone to be earning in London as a public sector worker? And where does one go from here? Because should everybody just strike? Let's just all do Guy Fawkes and do kamikaze. Let the tube drivers strike. Let the tube workers strike. Let the bus drivers strike. Let the teachers strike. The nurses strike. Is it the fact that the London Underground have better unions that allow for this? Because what would happen if my bartenders told me today that, you know, they want an extra £3 an hour and they don't like the work-life balance and they want to finish work at 11 p.m. and they decided not to come into work for a whole week? My business would cripple and I'd probably be forced to do it. And I'm not telling you bartenders to do that. Don't even. But where does one go from here? It's a struggle because we all have to be empathetic and understand that people still need to have their mental health in a good state. But at the same time, businesses need to earn money and people need to be paid. It's a fair exchange, I hope. Have a fantastic day.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's hot and very sweaty edition of Wearing the Pig in How Did I End Up Now. Well, this one's a bit of a rant, so you're probably going to work it out pretty quickly. I've had to pay to go over the Dartford crossing to get here quicker, and strangely enough, a couple of weeks back, wouldn't have been inside the ULEZ, but now I am, because that greedy piece of corn has decided to expand it and punish even more motorists. Well, I'm pretty glad I'm knocking it on the head in a few weeks, if nothing else, just so I don't have to line that because pockets. Absolutely fuming. Suck my stump, Mr. Corn, and thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
The UK is literally at a tipping point right now. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime or in my parents' lifetime. We've never seen anything like this on this scale. The people of this nation are getting sick and tired of everything that is happening to them. And that incident in Southport is a tipping point. That incident could be the catalyst to everything we see unfold right now. That could be the catalyst, in my opinion, because that is one step too far. We have become in this country too desensitized with all the incidents that go on, because it's just another thing. It's just another day. It just comes with part of the package of living in the UK. But going in to a children's nursery, 6, 7 and 9 years old and many more still in hospital, that is a tipping point. No matter who you are, you cannot ignore the fact of what happened. And that's why you're seeing the riots that went on in Southport. And that's why you're seeing tonight people going down to London and protesting. And it's not even just happening in London. It is happening up and down the country at the minute. People are even going outside of migrant hotels. The UK population is not just England, Scotland, Wales, and even Ireland. Irish brothers and sisters, all of the British Isles are getting sick and tired of it. And it's just built up and pent up fucking frustration. And that's what it is. And that's what it's come down to. And it's only going to get even crazier. It's only going to get even crazier. This is just the start of it. Like I said, this could be the catalyst right now. It's a Wednesday night, Tuesday night. What's going to happen on Friday night, Saturday night? This could be the catalyst, people. Like I say, no matter who you are, man, woman or child, you cannot ignore what went on in Southport.
The reality is, Britain isn't just going through a rough patch. It's collapsing in front of our eyes, and the numbers prove it. Right now, nearly 1 in 3 young Brits are saying openly that they don't see a future here. That's not just a complaint. That's an entire generation losing faith in their country. In 2023 alone, over 300,000 people emigrated from the UK, the highest in years. Think about that. More people are giving up and starting over abroad than ever before because they simply can't afford to exist here anymore. Meanwhile, those left behind are being crushed. Housing costs have gone up by nearly 30% in just the past 5 years. Rent is so high that families are living in cars, tents, or crammed into one-bedroom flats they can barely afford. Energy bills have doubled since 2021, and even though we were promised caps, the so-called protections mean nothing when you're still paying more than any other major country in Europe. Food prices, insane. The average weekly shop for a family of 4 is now well over £150. A block of cheese can cost £5, and essentials like bread, milk, and butter are being security tagged like luxury items. And here's the kicker. Wages haven't moved in over 15 years. Inflation eats every pay rise alive before it even lands in your bank account. It's no wonder people are angry. It's no wonder crime is rising, theft is up, and desperation is everywhere. Ordinary Brits feel like they're being punished simply for existing. And when politicians say things are getting better, it's an insult. Because if this is better, then I'd hate to see worse. But here's the thing. Leaving isn't an option for everyone. Not everyone can just pack a bag and move abroad. Most of us are stuck here, paying higher bills, higher taxes, and watching the country we love rot. So what do? We demand real change. We push for wages that rise with inflation because working full-time shouldn't mean poverty. We call for rent controls and a massive investment in affordable housing. Because everyone deserves a roof over their head. We challenge energy companies and supermarkets ripping us off while raking in record profits. Because survival shouldn't come with a premium price tag. And we expose politicians who hoard wealth, line their pockets, and collect second homes while ordinary Brits freeze, starve, and struggle. And let's be real, if we don't fight for it, nothing changes. Because the system isn't broken by accident, it's working exactly as designed. To keep ordinary people struggling, while the rich get richer and walk away with everything. That's why millionaires are leaving. Not because they can't survive, but because they've already drained the system dry and are taking their money elsewhere. Meanwhile, we're left to pick up the bill. So the choice is simple. We can keep taking it, keep getting squeezed, keep getting told to tighten our belts while MPs expense their champagne lunches. Or we can stand up and say no. This country belongs to us, not to the elites, not to the corporations, not to the landlords bleeding us dry. Britain doesn't need to be broken forever, but right now it is. And if we don't act, if we don't demand more, then yes, people will keep leaving, people will keep falling into poverty, and life here will keep getting worse. That's why Brit Rants is here. To say what they won't, to tell the truth they hide. If you're fed up with being lied to, robbed, and treated like a problem in your own country, hit subscribe. Because this fight isn't over and we're not going quiet.